Reasons why you should cut off toxic people. Toxic relationships can silently erode emotional health, lower self-esteem, and block personal growth. Whether in the form of a controlling friend, an unsupportive partner, or a manipulative coworker, toxic individuals often thrive on negativity and exploitation. Their influence creates unnecessary stress and can gradually affect mental stability, physical health, and even professional opportunities. Maintaining ties with such people is not only draining, but also prevents the pursuit of a balanced and fulfilling life. Cutting off toxic people is not an act of cruelty, it is an act of self-preservation. Setting boundaries and removing harmful influences paves the way for healthier interactions, stronger confidence, and a clearer sense of direction. The following sections explore 5 compelling reasons to distance yourself from toxic individuals, highlighting the long-term benefits for emotional resilience, physical well-being, and personal success. Reason 1. Protecting emotional and mental health. Toxic individuals often manipulate emotions, criticize without reason, and create environments filled with tension. Constant exposure to such negativity can lead to anxiety, depression, and a deep sense of inadequacy. Protecting mental health begins with recognizing when relationships cause more harm than benefit. Taking distance from harmful influences is not an act of weakness, but of self-preservation, allowing space for emotional healing and the development of healthier, more supportive connections. Constant criticism, belittling remarks, or passive-aggressive behavior gradually erode confidence. Over time, individuals exposed to this pattern begin to internalize the negativity, questioning their abilities and worth. This erosion of self-esteem becomes a major obstacle to personal growth and fulfillment. Removing such influences is therefore essential to restore balance, rebuild self-respect, and foster a more positive self-image. Emotional health is closely tied to overall life satisfaction. When toxic individuals dominate personal or professional circles, they drain energy and prevent focus on meaningful goals. By breaking free from these dynamics, emotional resources can be redirected toward constructive ambitions and nurturing relationships. Protecting mental health is not optional. It is the foundation for stability, resilience, and a fulfilling life. Choosing distance from toxicity is ultimately an act of empowerment, paving the way for stronger confidence, greater peace, and long-term well-being. Reason 2. Preserving physical health and energy. Toxic relationships impact not only emotions but also physical health. Stress generated by constant conflict, manipulation, or pressure manifests directly in the body. Prolonged exposure to such dynamics can lead to insomnia, frequent headaches, digestive discomfort, weakened immunity, and even long-term conditions such as hypertension or cardiovascular issues. Recognizing this connection underscores the importance of removing harmful individuals from daily life to safeguard overall well-being. The human body reacts to toxic stress in the same way it responds to immediate danger. Cortisol levels rise, the heart beats faster, and the nervous system remains in a heightened state of alert. When this stress response becomes chronic, it wears down the body. Concentration diminishes, productivity suffers, and energy levels decline. Over time, this state of constant tension can severely impact both physical performance and mental resilience. Distancing from toxic influences gives the body the opportunity to recover, restoring balance and allowing a return to healthier rhythms. Separating from harmful people also opens space for positive routines. Energy once consumed by arguments, defensiveness, or manipulation can instead be invested in constructive habits such as regular exercise, balanced nutrition, and restorative sleep. These practices not only strengthen the body, but also reinforce emotional stability. The link between physical and emotional health is undeniable, and nurturing one supports the other. Ultimately, protecting health requires more than addressing diet or lifestyle. It also involves evaluating the quality of relationships. Removing toxic connections is an act of self-care that benefits both mind and body. By choosing healthier interactions, individuals create conditions for resilience, vitality, and long-term well-being. Reason 3. Enhancing personal growth and self-confidence. Personal growth thrives in environments rooted in encouragement, trust, and respect. In contrast, toxic individuals seek control and limitation. They often belittle achievements, discourage ambition, and manipulate others into believing they are incapable of reaching success. Over time, this cycle suffocates self-confidence and blocks progress. Choosing to cut ties with such influences is therefore a powerful act of liberation, creating space for self-discovery and empowerment. Once toxic people are removed, individuals regain ownership of their choices. No longer dependent on constant validation from those unwilling to provide support, they are free to pursue personal ambitions without interference. Whether through education, career development, or creative expression, opportunities become more accessible in an environment free of judgment and manipulation. Confidence grows steadily, nurtured by independence and self-trust. Additionally, distancing from toxic influences fosters resilience. Living without the constant weight of destructive criticism builds the capacity to face challenges directly and constructively. Each obstacle becomes an opportunity to strengthen character rather than a reason for self-doubt. This resilience is the driving force behind long-term personal growth, enabling individuals to embrace possibilities that once felt out of reach. Ultimately, breaking free from toxic ties is more than a protective measure. It is a transformative choice. By removing negativity, individuals not only preserve their mental health, but also unlock their full potential. The freedom to grow without restraint leads to empowerment, confidence, and a more fulfilling life. Reason 4. Building healthier relationships and boundaries. Toxic individuals occupy valuable emotional space that could otherwise be filled with healthy, uplifting connections. Their presence often discourages meaningful relationships, preventing genuine bonds with people who bring stability and encouragement. By consciously removing harmful influences, one opens the door to friendships and partnerships grounded in trust, respect, and mutual growth. A crucial step in this process is establishing clear boundaries. Toxic people typically resist such limits, pushing against them in attempts to maintain control. Learning to enforce these boundaries not only prevents further emotional manipulation, but also sets the foundation for healthier interactions in the future. Boundaries should not be seen as walls that isolate, but rather as tools of self-respect that clarify expectations in both personal and professional contexts. Once negative influences are removed, the ability to recognize and appreciate authentic support becomes sharper. Relationships with empathetic, honest individuals feel more rewarding as they foster trust instead of suspicion. Friendships flourish through openness, while partnerships strengthen through cooperation rather than rivalry. Eliminating toxicity creates a supportive environment where personal and professional well-being can thrive, ensuring that one's social network contributes positively to growth and fulfillment rather than draining energy and confidence. Reason 5. Creating space for fulfillment and success. Toxic individuals often act as obstacles, diverting attention from what truly matters and draining both motivation and energy. They thrive on unnecessary drama, spread negativity, and demand constant emotional investment. The energy consumed by such relationships could otherwise be directed toward meaningful pursuits that foster growth and stability. Removing these influences clears the path toward fulfillment and opens valuable space for genuine progress and success. Time and focus are limited resources, and how they are allocated determines personal and professional outcomes. When too much is invested in toxic connections, less remains for career advancement, creative exploration, or self-improvement. Once harmful influences are cut away, individuals often experience greater clarity, renewed determination, and the freedom to pursue long-term goals with confidence and purpose. Living authentically is another essential element of fulfillment. Toxic people frequently pressure others to conform to their expectations, creating lives shaped by manipulation rather than personal choice. By distancing from such ties, authenticity is reclaimed. Goals begin to align with true values, passions are pursued without guilt, and accomplishments reflect genuine effort rather than external control. Eliminating toxicity is not simply a defensive act, it is a powerful catalyst for growth, resilience, and lasting success. Conclusion. Toxic individuals undermine emotional health, physical vitality, personal growth, and future success. They thrive on manipulation, criticism, and negativity, leaving those around them drained and unfulfilled. Removing such influences is not selfish, it is essential. By protecting mental health, preserving physical well-being, enhancing personal growth, building healthier relationships, and creating space for success, life becomes more balanced, resilient, and fulfilling. The act of cutting off toxic people is ultimately an act of empowerment. It signals the recognition that every person deserves respect, encouragement, and the freedom to grow. Choosing to distance from negativity is choosing to live with clarity, strength, and purpose. 10 questions and answers about cutting off toxic people. Question 1. What is a toxic person? A toxic person is someone whose behavior consistently harms others through manipulation, criticism, or negativity. Question 2. How do toxic relationships affect mental health? They create stress, anxiety, and feelings of inadequacy by constantly undermining self-worth. Question 3. Can toxic people affect physical health? Yes, prolonged exposure to toxic stress can lead to insomnia, fatigue, headaches, and weakened immunity. Question 4. Why is cutting off toxic people not selfish? It is an act of self-preservation that protects emotional stability and overall well-being. Question 5. How does removing toxic influences boost personal growth? It frees individuals from limitation, allowing confidence and resilience to flourish. Question 6. Do boundaries help with toxic relationships? Yes, clear boundaries prevent emotional exploitation and set healthier expectations in interactions. Question 7. Can cutting off toxic people improve other relationships? Absolutely. It creates space for supportive friendships and partnerships to thrive. Question 8. How do toxic individuals block success? They distract, manipulate, and drain energy that could otherwise fuel personal and professional goals. Question 9. Is it possible to rebuild self-confidence after leaving toxicity? Yes, distance allows independence, authenticity, and the rediscovery of personal strength. Question 10. What is the greatest benefit of cutting off toxic people? The freedom to live authentically, with emotional health, supportive relationships, and the pursuit of true fulfillment.